back here. Okay. And Mike, why don't you come up too? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Tim Bellacchini from Stormwater is running a little late. I'm Eric Seeger from the City of Colorado Springs Communications, and we're here today just to talk about the incident that's about 1.5 miles up the road with the road partially washing out in North Cheyenne Canyon. And so I have Scott Abbott, our Regional Parks Manager, here to talk a little bit about how they found this and what's the situation and what's the access here for the park. Scott?
Good afternoon, everyone. Scott Abbott, Regional Parks, Trails, and Open Space Manager. About 9 o'clock this morning, I got a report from one of our on-site park rangers that we had an issue with North Cheyenne Canyon's road. Some pictures were sent to me. Really what it looks like is we've had a significant amount of rainfall, certainly over the past few days, and that has created some erosion issues along the roadside. The creek is running at a very high rate. What had happened is the creek side had eroded, and we have about 1/3 of the roadway missing at this point. It had collapsed and has fallen into the creek. So we have a situation on our park road that is causing it to be impassable by cars at this point. So we've closed the road to traffic. We want to make sure that the public knows that the park trails are still open, but traffic through the canyon is closed at this point. We're working with our stormwater engineering department. They're taking a closer look at really the ins and outs of what may happen continually as we are in the middle of a weather pattern, and we might get some rain today and tomorrow and maybe even into the weekend. And they have more technical aspects of what may continue to happen to that road. But for now, we do have the park closed to traffic.
Questions for Scott?
I would have no ability to give you a ballpark on when the road would be fixed and open for traffic. But if folks want to park in the parking areas that are outside of the road corridor, they can still access our park trails. And it's very important to emphasize that we really want the public to stay on our park trail system. We do not want people on the roadway at this time. Sure. The northern entrance to North Cheyenne Cañon Park comes through Gold Camp Road, and we have that access closed as well at this point. We would just end up overloading the park from one direction without any ability for ingress and egress other than that one area. So we're keeping that area closed at now until we get more information. Yes and yes. During the initial stages of trying to understand what was happening, clearly we had park visitors in the park this morning, and we allowed them to come through the area. But as we learned more about the significance of what is happening to that road, we closed all traffic, and we moved all of the people who remained in the park up and out through the Gold Camp exit. We had significant rains in 14 and 15, caused significant damage to Gold Camp Road itself, and we lost a section of that road in its entirety. So during that time, we had significant damages to Gold Camp Road and North Cheyenne Canyon Road as well. Absolutely. We don't want anybody getting close to anything that could be deemed a danger, and we would like for them to notify, really, if it's an emergency situation, notify 911 so we can get people on site very quickly. Yeah, the folks that live in the canyon are used to situations like this. whether it's a snow event, whether it's a rain event like this. We have had some closures and some issues in the past, so they're used to understanding that there is another opportunity for egress, and we're certainly working with them, make sure that they have all their access needs taken care of and that they can come and go as they need. Way too early to comment on that as well. You know, we work with our race event organizer and make sure we're making really good decisions for all parties involved. Again, we're still in the middle of an active weather pattern, so we just want to make sure that we're going to make good judgment call as we get closer to that event. Yeah, we're working with our Public Works Department, and even as early as today, we might see some attempts at kind of shoring up what has already been eroded. Again, we're just trying to make some efforts. The possibility of slowing down the erosion to that creek side, that's a possibility. So we're trying to make an effort and do all we can do in the interim. I'm a park manager, not a roadway engineer, so I want to make sure that our engineers make sure they kind of attend to that type of question.
Any other questions for Scott? Thanks, Scott. I will just add, in talking with our Public Works Department and our city engineer specifically, that there is a process to certify the roadway as safe, and so our city engineering department and along with stormwater will have to get in there and make those assessments and make sure that the roadway is safe before we open it. And as Scott noted, it's gonna take some time, and we don't know what that timetable is yet. I do want to bring up Micah Rice, who's with the Pikes Peak Apex, and I know there are a couple questions about that event, and Micah can answer kind of where they are on that process and determining what's going to happen with their event. Micah?
Hello, Micah Rice with the Pikes Peak Apex and the Colorado Springs Sports Corporation. We were alerted this morning to what was going on up here on North Cheyenne Canyon Road. We are planning the Pikes Peak Apex race. It'll be the 6th year this year. We've been concentrating, of course, on Palmer Park. That race is on Friday when we kick off the Apex. So we're already working on reroutes in Palmer Park, staying away from muddy sections. Our Saturday event is down in Canyon City. So we're working with Canyon City Recreation District as well as parks down there on some possible reroutes to stay out of the mud in Canyon City. And then, as you guys know, on Sunday, we're supposed to be here in Cheyenne Canyon. At this point, we're working very closely with the city, working closely with Parks, Scott and his team, to make sure that we're going to stay away from areas that might be dangerous to riders, situations that we want to avoid because there's work being done. It's too early to exactly tell exactly what we're going to be doing here. But I understand right now that the trails are open in Cheyenne Canyon at this time, and this is an off-road cycling event. So our expectation is that we will have some sort of event, some sort of race here in the Cheyenne Canyon area. We're just really not sure where that's going to be, and we want to avoid any areas that are getting work on them or might be dangerous for our riders. So that's the current situation, and we've got several days before our race here on Sunday, including a nice dry out day on Saturday, which will hopefully dry out the trails a little bit more. The great thing about this Pikes Peak granite is that it kind of is very rocky and sandy, and water moves away from it very quickly. So the vast majority of trails that we've got up here are going to be very appropriate to ride 48 hours after it stops raining. So our expectation is that we will still be able to have a great event up here in Cheyenne Canyon on Sunday. We're just really watching to see what trails and roads that we're going to be able to participate on. So that's the plan right now. We'll absolutely pay attention to the social media and the websites here with the city and then the Parks Department. they'll know. We'll be taking cue from them on exactly what's happening and what's open and what's closed. We've of course got direct emails of all of our participants. We're going to be updating them. We've got a rider meeting tomorrow night at Shields where we'll be updating them with all of our new courses as we get them. Probably Sunday won't be fully decided by tomorrow night, but we'll be keeping everyone in the loop. And of course, our Pikes Peak Apex social media will have all of that information. We'll continue to update everybody on what's going on. But I think we'll still have some great racing this weekend here in Colorado Springs.
Probably just take a pause here for a second because I'm sure you guys want to get footage of the truck.
With all the boulders.